Assalamu alaikum, guys. It seems like these updates are helping some people stay informed and things, so I'm going to continue them, inshallah. So what happened yesterday? Basically, what happened yesterday? We were meant to have a bread delivery go out over the whole country. And videos that were shared on social media showed that this went really horribly wrong. And there were images of people attacking delivery drivers, like for water truck delivery drivers, and people were having big fights in the street and huge, unbelievably huge crowds around buses, people climbing on top of each other and things. And it was just a bit of a failure, to be honest. Around midday, they announced that they were going to extend the delivery times from, it was meant to stop at 5 p.m, and they said that it would stop at 7 p.m. instead. But still, a lot of Amman didn't receive bread, us included. I was a bit disappointed, just because I wanted to show you guys what it was going to be like. So that evening, yesterday evening, they said this obviously isn't going to work, and that as of tomorrow, i.e. today, that shops, small corner shops, also known as supermarkets, would be open, and people can go to them on foot. You're not allowed to use your car, you're not allowed to drive. You're not allowed to drive, you can just walk to the corner shops, and there are certain rules about however many people are allowed into the corner shop at a time. So our one was 2 people at a time. Bread was also available. The bakeries, some bakeries weren't allowing you to come in, they were making you queue outside. And some bakeries you could go inside, but all of the bread was already pre-packaged. So you just go and you grab your bread and you leave. And people were saying that this was just today, it worked so well. And many people said that they've never seen Jordanians queue the way that they were queuing and be as patient as they were being. So they were very enthusiastic about this, and the government was very, very happy with how that turned out. However, despite that, people did go out in their cars. I mean, I saw so many cars. You've got a tiny street, very quiet street, and I saw so many cars going in and out. And in total, 637 cars were seized today because they violated the curfew. So I think that's a problem because because the government backtracked a bit. So this was basically kind of what our situation was like on Thursday last week, where we were being advised, or it wasn't advised, there was a ban, like don't go outside, don't do unnecessary, don't move unnecessarily, basically. And I think that because it feels like we've backtracked and gone back to that, people feel like they can go and visit their families now, and it's kind of got a bit derailed. So I'm hoping that they're going to reinforce it somehow, that people still need to stay home, that they can go out to the shop just to get essentials and come back home. Oh, and it's also only one representative of the family was allowed to go to the shop. So it's not like the kids shouldn't be in the streets. Anyone under the age of 16 wasn't allowed. Over a certain age as well, the more vulnerable group weren't allowed to go out to the shops as well. But there wasn't any panic. People were polite and calm from everything that I've heard of anyway. You might have a different experience. But people were talking about, queues where people were standing 2 meters apart and things. Anyone that you saw walking in the street, they had big berth between them. And also what I thought was interesting was that they didn't put a restriction on how much you could buy. So at the bakery, there wasn't a restriction. Our Harris walked very far to the nearest bakery. It's a really long way. And he bought bread for the entire building. And there was no problem with that, with him bringing all that back. I mean, haram, he had to walk there and couldn't get a taxi or anything. But yeah, he had no problems with that. So I think that those are the things that people needed to feel comfortable. They needed to know that they're not going to be restricted on how much they buy, that they've got their personal freedom. It's hard for an Arab man or, any man, but I think especially in this culture, in this masculine culture, for an Arab man to sit at home and not be allowed to go out and provide for his family. I think that really, I feel like that hit a lot of men quite hard. I'm assuming. I mean, you don't know everyone's situation. I think it's wrong to judge all the people that were going out and where it was getting really crazy, because we don't know what their situation was at home. But definitely the situation now seems to suit people a lot better, just as long as they stay home. But this does mean that at 6 p.m, when the curfew comes back into place, no one is allowed out after 6 p.m. They put the sirens on again to make sure that everyone comes home. Our mosque got a little bit confused about this, and they continued on the I don't know what the word would be, but the adhan speech continued right over the sirens, which was a little bit ominous actually. But yeah, so the sirens came in and everyone was told to get back home. All day I did hear sirens, more than usual. I mean, during this period we've heard a lot of sirens, and it could be that there's no other noises, so like the normal sirens that you would hear are much clearer, but I feel like there's been a lot of sirens going off. So I don't know what's going on, where those people are going to. The thing that everyone wants to hear is the corona cases, so of course here it is. 19 new cases today, which brings us to a total of 172 cases, 40 of which were from that notorious wedding in Irbid. And I just want to say to the Ribdawis, I was joking in my last video. I am only poking fun, and I love and support all of you, of course. And anything that I say is in good humour. And I also wanted to mention that I mentioned Aqaba had special, a special situation going on. That's not for the same reasons as Irbid. That's because they have a port there, and they have their own situation going on there. So that's that. In terms of delivery and what is available in the market, the private delivery companies like Careem, like Basket, they are still waiting for approval to go ahead and start delivering items. They've been waiting since yesterday. The government still hasn't given them the final say on this. Tomorrow they may issue a statement and we may know where we stand in terms of those deliveries. Cigarettes still Thursday, and the greengrocers, that's tomorrow, which is tomorrow. Today there was a shortage of dairy in the small shops, and by tomorrow it will be normal business as usual. All the dairy, all the vegetables, everything basically will be available as of tomorrow, inshallah. So that is my update. I hope that is useful in some way. I am going to get to your comments, guys. I've been really rubbish at replying to comments, but I do look at them, and thank you so much for the support, and inshallah we'll get around to replying to all of them soon. So I hope that you are staying at home. Khalik bil bayt, and stay home, stay safe. Dir balku lahalku. Ma salama. Bye. Can I say dir balku lahalku? Dir balku ala halku. It sounds weird.